This is the Intercontinental Broadcasting Corporation. Sa Bagong Pilipinas.
Although they have both reaffirmed the importance of maintaining open communication, exercising restraint, avoiding actions that may escalate tensions, and continuing efforts towards peaceful dialogue and constructive engagement.
Tonight's top stories. ASEAN-related meetings begin. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. welcomes leaders and delegates spearheading dialogues aimed at accelerating economic development.
Uninterrupted relief efforts. Local government units and concerned agencies join forces to deliver aid to Mayon-affected residents.
Drone attack in Strait of Hormuz leaves 7 Filipino seafarers injured, says the Department of Migrant Workers.
And K-pop superstars BTS draws a massive crowd during their visit in Mexico. All these and more here on 13 News. Good evening, I'm Angela C. We're bringing you the day's top stories that shape the country, straightforward, clear, and concise.
I'm Greg Gregorio, under one flag with 3 mandates to inform, explain, and empower the nation. This is 13 News. First on our rundown, ASEAN meetings are underway and President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is already taking on key responsibilities as 2026 chair.
On the sidelines of the summit in Cebu City, he stepped in as mediator between Thailand and Cambodia, helping diffuse tensions over their border dispute. IBC News correspondent Harley Valbuena is on the ground to give us the latest. Harley?
As the 2026 ASEAN chair, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. stepped in as a mediator between Thailand and Cambodia over their border dispute. Following their trilateral meeting on the sidelines of the 48th ASEAN Summit and related meetings in Cebu, President Marcos Jr. announced that Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul and Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet agreed to pursue peaceful settlement of their border situation. The Philippine President emphasized that as ASEAN chair, he arranged the dialogue to open constructive channels between the two sides.
Although they have both reaffirmed the importance of maintaining open communication, exercising restraint, avoiding actions that may escalate tensions, and continuing efforts towards peaceful dialogue and constructive engagement.
The Thai and Cambodian leaders also reaffirmed their commitment to peace.
Our discussions focus on de-escalations and trust-building measures to restore and consolidate a functioning framework for lasting peace and renormalize relations.
Thailand and Cambodia are 2 neighboring countries. It is best that we avoid conflict. It only brings losses and suffering. Now is the time for us to look forward and walk this path together towards peace.
The 2 leaders agreed to task their foreign ministers to continue further discussions for peaceful resolution of the dispute. They also expressed gratitude to President Marcos Jr. for his efforts. Thailand and Cambodia's border conflict stems from their overlapping territorial claims. Meanwhile, President Marcos Jr. also held a bilateral meeting with Vietnamese Prime Minister Lee Min Hong, where the two leaders agreed to establish a long-term rice trade mechanism for stable supply and stronger food security cooperation. He also led the Brunei Darussalam Indonesia Malaysia Philippines East ASEAN Growth Area or BIMP EAGA Summit.
Today's discussions highlight key milestone programs and projects that are already making a big difference in our communities, creating livelihoods, strengthening connectivity, and expanding opportunities, especially in the sub-region's growth areas.
Tomorrow, broader discussions are expected as all ASEAN leaders gather for the opening of the main ASEAN Summit. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you for the report, Harley Valbuena. Meanwhile, ASEAN meetings kick off in Cebu with leaders and delegates receiving a warm welcome, setting the stage for high-level talks on regional cooperation and growth. More details now from IBC correspondent Patrick Gupo.
ASEAN leaders received a warm welcome in Cebu for the 48th ASEAN Summit and related meetings. Among the first to arrive last night was His Majesty Sultan Hassan Al Bolkiah of Brunei, accompanied by his son Prince Abdul Mateen. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. then arrived at the Mactan Benito Ebuen Airways via a chartered flight. Earlier today, Timor-Leste's Prime Minister Sanana Gusmao came following the country's formal admission as a full-fledged member of ASEAN. Vietnamese Prime Minister Lee Min Hong also arrived. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet and Thai Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul are likewise in Cebu, followed by the arrival of Singapore Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. As of tonight, only the leader of the Lao People's Democratic Republic has yet to arrive but is expected to attend the main summit tomorrow. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto also came and joined President Marcos Jr. and Brunei's leader for the BIMP EAGA Summit or the Brunei Darussalam Indonesia Malaysia Philippines East ASEAN Growth Area meeting. In his opening statement as ASEAN 2026 chair, President Marcos Jr. emphasized regional cooperation to improve communities and expand opportunities across the sub-region.
Today's discussions highlight key milestone programs and projects that are already making a big difference in our communities, creating livelihoods, strengthening connectivity, and expanding opportunities, especially in the sub-region's growth areas.
The summit serves as a strategic forum aimed at strengthening connectivity and economic cooperation among member countries. Meanwhile, the ASEAN has yet to reach a consensus on whether to recognize the new government in Myanmar. The Philippines has asked Myanmar to allow Foreign Affairs Secretary Maria Theresa Lazaro a brief access to former Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi following reports that she has been transferred to house arrest. The request would enable Lazaro as the Philippines' special envoy and ASEAN chair to engage all stakeholders. Suu Kyi has been detained since the 2021 military coup. Patrick Gupo, IBC News.
Here are some fun facts about this year's ASEAN Summit hosted by the Philippines. Now here's something you don't see every day. His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah of Brunei flew and landed his own aircraft at the Mactan Benito Ebuen Air Base in Cebu. Yep, he's a licensed pilot. And speaking of ASEAN, the family now includes 11 member states: Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, People's Democratic Republic, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. That's quite the list of nations working together. And to mark the Philippines' chairship, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has released a commemorative 10 peso ASEAN coin. Flip it over, and you'll find the official ASEAN 2026 logo plus a QR code that links to real-time updates. And get this, Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong joined the fun online, posting a video of Cebu's landmarks. He added a local touch by using the hit OPM track Dilaw by Filipino artist Maki as background music. Don't believe me? Listen to this.
Amid the slowdown of the Philippine Gross Domestic Product or GDP in the first quarter this year, the Department of Economy Planning and Development or DepDev is already pushing economic initiatives to ease the burden caused by the Middle East conflict. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority show GDP growth at 2.8%, down from 5.4% last year. GDP is the total monetary value of goods and services produced in the country. Despite the slight drop, the services sector remained the main driver of economic growth at 4.5%, while the agriculture and industry sectors recorded slight declines of 0.2% and 0.1% respectively. The current country's GDP is due to the ongoing Middle East conflict, as the DepDev is directing faster budget digitalization for major government programs. The agency is also studying the reactivation of the El Niño Task Force, investments in electric vehicles, and implementing interventions under the Uplift Committee.
We are undertaking under the Uplift many interventions to support assistance, including income support for the vulnerable sectors and especially the poor.
An outstanding recognition has achieved as the Asian Development Bank or ADB recognizes the Philippine government to its decisive response to global oil price shock. Department of Energy Secretary Sharon Garin said the recognition gives the administration an opportunity on what more needs to be done for the country. The recognition cited that the Philippines is one of the most active countries in the Asia Pacific in responding to global oil concerns. The ADB said the initiatives of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. are effective in easing the country's oil concerns. These initiatives include fuel subsidies, targeted cash assistance for vulnerable sectors, fuel price adjustments, and international collaboration of oil reserves. Moreover, the president also directs intensified price monitoring in basic goods and investments in renewable energy measures. The president also issued 2 executive orders in easing the oil concerns, which are the temporary excise tax suspension on LPG and kerosene and the declaration of national energy emergency and the implementation of the Uplift Committee. When we return, key government agencies rush aid to families affected by Mayon's unrest. Stay tuned. This is 13 News.
Are you ready to open your mind? We're tackling topics others won't.
There should always be that collaboration between families, the communities, the school.
Most of the household, ayaw nilang pag-usapan anything about sex.
Or parang parang na-attract sila dun sa industry namin na tigil yan.
It's time to stop the stigma and start the science.
Because here on Naked Minds, we break the silence.
Naked Minds, every Friday, 10 p.m. on IBC 13.
Welcome back to the program. Ahead of the incoming House plenary session for the impeachment case of Vice President Sara Duterte, the Quezon City Regional Trial Court has dismissed her husband's petition to block the proceedings. Amidst this, momentum continues to build in favor of proceeding with the impeachment, though the final decision rests with the upcoming plenary vote. More details from IBC News correspondent Danielle Manalastas.
The Quezon City Regional Trial Court has dismissed the petition filed by Vice President Sara Duterte's husband, Attorney Manasseh Carpio, to block the impeachment proceedings. The court ruled that the House Justice Committee followed due process. It also junked Carpio's complaint against several lawmakers over the disclosure of the Vice President's bank transactions. As of now, lawmakers have in hand the Justice Committee report containing the articles of impeachment. House Public Accounts Chair Terry Redon says 215 members are poised to support the case in Monday's plenary vote. That figure represents more than 2/3 of the House, well above the 106 votes required to elevate the complaint to the Senate. Tingog Party List Representative Jude Asidre likewise believes the impeachment will secure at least 200 votes. He said support has grown after clarificatory hearings where evidence was presented and scrutinized. If the case reaches Senate, Senator Ping Lacson floated Senator Kiko Pangilinan as a possible impeachment manager. But Pangilinan clarified no final decision has been made yet.
Lahat kami judge. So hindi naman, kumbaga lahat kami magkakaroon ng kanya-kanyang opinion. And it's a decision of the majority. Hindi naman kami majority na nag-uusap. Tipan ko pa.
And then, Senator
Lacson earlier noted the possibility of not convening the impeachment court if opposition is strong. But a legal expert disagreed with that view.
With all due respect to Senator Lacson na dapat talaga tuunan to ng majority o magkaroon ng majority decision, irrelevant yon sapagkat ang Constitution na mismo ang nag-uutos sa kanila, Senado, gawin nyo, ibig sabihin ng forthwith. Bibigyan namin kayo ng leeway for preparation lang.
Daniel Manalastas, IBC News.
In other news, the Makati Medical Center has opened its urgent care center for patients with non-critical conditions needing immediate attention. The facility aims to deliver fast medical service for minor cases such as fever, cough, or small wounds. It is also expected to ease overcrowding in hospital emergency rooms. With the setup, non-critical patients get quicker care while ER teams focus on severe cases.
Napakahalaga dahil nakikita natin ngayon na ang mga emergency department sa buong Pilipinas ay nagkakaroon ng overcrowding. Pag hindi sila nakita ng sapat na oras, ito ay pwedeng makadulot ng hindi safe na pagtrato o pag-treat sa mga pasyente.
The national and local government have joined hands to continue efforts in Albay amid the unrest of Mayon volcano. So far, around 70,000 families have already received humanitarian assistance. IBC correspondent Cristal Ramizares has this story.
Residents of Albay have joined hands with government agencies to help those affected by Mayon volcano's unrest. Neighboring provinces Sorsogon, Camarines Sur, and Masbate delivered food packs and equipment to provide clean water.
Tulong-tulong sa rehabilitation ni ilang gobyerno to be patiking mabayang bayanihan o spirit natin, may balik uli natin para makabangon yung mga tao.
The Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation is also set to assist affected farmers. Data showed more than 4,000 farmers may claim indemnities based on crop type and damage.
National government po is nag-allocate naman po ng subsidized crop insurance na lahat po na naka-RS PSA ay mabibigyan ng libreng crop insurance para po kung mga ganitong sitwasyon na may hindi natin inaasahang kalamidad o sa mga pest and diseases po. Kahit po paano may babalik pong kapital sa atin po mga farmers and fisher folks.
The Department of Agriculture has also begun distributing rice and corn seeds, medicines and supplements for livestock, and fingerlings for fisherfolk. Meanwhile, the Philippine Army's 9th Infantry Division has deployed units across Albay towns and cities. Their humanitarian operations are now in full swing, with local disaster offices to ensure safety in crisis areas. As of tonight, 70,000 families have benefited from food, non-food items, and emergency cash transfers from the Department of Social Welfare and Development. The agency assures standby food packs are still sufficient and will roll out cash assistance for farmers next week. Cristal Ramizares, IBC News.
The low-pressure area inside the Philippine Area of Responsibility has crossed over Picong, Lanao del Sur as of 3 p.m. today. Although the LPA has a low chance of developing into a tropical storm, it will continue to bring scattered rains and thunderstorms over Visayas and Mindanao region. Meanwhile, Tropical Cyclone Hagupit is expected to enter PAR over the weekend. According to Pag-asa, Hagupit will continue to move westward in the next 6 hours. Upon entry, it will be given a domestic name, Kaloy. At the meantime, easterlies remain to affect the rest of the country, bringing isolated rain showers. Meanwhile, danger level heat index persists in some regions. Around 43 degrees Celsius of heat was felt over San Jose Occidental Mindoro and Borongan Eastern Samar. Temperatures in Cuyo, Palawan, and Sangli Point, Cavite City also soar up to 43 degrees Celsius. In Metro Manila, up to 41 degrees Celsius of heat was also felt. When we come back, 7 Filipino seafarers were among those injured in the Iranian attack off the Strait of Hormuz. Don't go away. This is 13 News.
Kayo ba ay may mga isyong may kinalaman sa karapatang pantao o pangkalusugan?
Isyong legal at pangangailangang medikal, ito ang programang magbibigay payo, tulong para sa mga mamamayang nangangailangan. Kasama sina Congressman Zia Alonto Adyong at Attorney Mix Nograles.
Makakasama niyo kami sa paghatid ng kwento at tulong, pag-asa at pagbibigay ng mabilis at di kalidad na serbisyo.
Tutukan ang lahat ng ito sa House at Your Service tuwing Sabado, 1:00 ng hapon dito sa IBC 13 at Congress TV.
In news abroad, the Health Ministry of Spain announced it will repatriate uninfected individuals aboard the MV Hondius that was hit by the hantavirus. This latest development comes as the vessel is expected to dock in the Canary Islands following successful medical evacuation of 3 symptomatic passengers. If all 147 people on board remains to not present any symptoms, non-Spanish citizens will be allowed to return to their respective countries. The Department of Migrant Workers assured it is closely coordinating with international health authorities for the 38 Filipino crew aboard the MV. It is also working with the Department of Health and Department of Foreign Affairs for the safe repatriation of all seafarers. Earlier, the DOH said all crew members are safe and not infected by the virus.
At least 7 Filipino seafarers aboard the Malta-flagged vessel passing through the Strait of Hormuz were injured after an Iranian drone attack, according to the Department of Migrant Workers. During earlier's press briefing at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak reported 3 of the 7 are in intensive care. Kakdak, however, assured that the agency and the Philippine Embassy have already coordinated with the hospital abroad and the host government. Meanwhile, the 9th repatriation flight of the United Arab Emirates has safely boarded and returned 105 overseas Filipino workers and their dependents back to the country. More than 9,000 Filipinos in total have been safely repatriated since crisis in the Middle East began early March. The DMW affirmed repatriation efforts and distribution of financial assistance continues to support returning Filipinos. K-pop superstars BTS drew a massive crowd of around 50,000 outside of Mexico's National Palace during their visit with President Claudia Sheinbaum. After nearly a decade since they last visited, loud cheers from Bangtan fans welcomed the group. The Mexican president invited BTS for a meeting, presenting them with a commemorative plaque. With 7-member group will hold a 3-night show in Mexico City as part of their Arirang World Tour. Meanwhile, the Quezon City local government has officially opened its first skate park. City Mayor Joy Belmonte led the opening ceremony earlier today. The 3,700 square meter park is designed for advanced and high performance runs, providing athletes a space to also train. Apart from this, a 1,198 square meter outdoor tennis court was also opened for the public. This is part of the local government's initiative to establish more open spaces and recreational areas across the city.
The UAAP Season 88 Women's Volleyball is coming to an end as the LaSalle Lady Spikers defeats the National University Lady Bulldogs in the finals Game 1. The Lady Spikers shrug off some struggles in the early game, but still gained the victory against the Lady Bulldogs with a score of 25-23, 25-18, and 25-18. The Lady Spikers may get the crown if they will claim the victory in the second game against the Lady Bulldogs on May 9 in the Mall of Asia Arena at 5 p.m. Here are the results of the 9 p.m. draw from the PCSO. For the Lotto 642, the winning numbers are 28, 20, 36, 29, 11, and 27, with a jackpot prize of 10 million pesos. For the Super Lotto 649, the winning combination is 47, 11, 24, 33, 48, and 2, with the jackpot prize of 25 million pesos. For the 6D Lotto, the winning combination is in exact order is 4, 0, 6, 8, 8, and 7. For the 3D Lotto, the winning numbers are 9, 4, and 4. And for the 2D draw, the winning numbers are 19 and 16. There is no winner for the Lotto 642 and Super Lotto 649. Tomorrow, May 8, the 48th Association of Southeast Asian Nations or Asian Summit or ASEAN Summit and related meetings will formally open in Cebu. With the theme Navigating the Future Together under the country's chairship, the summit will gather nation leaders to discuss key topics and address issues across the Southeast Asian region.
Also tomorrow, we recognize the members and volunteers of Philippine Red Cross on World Red Cross and Crescent Day. On this day, we pay tribute to the unwavering dedication and humanitarian efforts of the organization in helping the community through their missions. And those were the latest from the IBC Newsroom this evening.
We'll continue to monitor the stories that matter and bring you updates as they develop. I'm Greg Gregorio.
And I'm Angela C. This is 13 News. Good night, everyone.